Assalamu alaikum. Imagine you need to solve this kind of circuits. For example, the left circuit and the right circuit are the two same circuits. Here the values are written as generically, and here the values are given specifically. So in order to simplify this kind of circuit, for example, if we are told to find the equivalent circuit, equivalent resistance of RAB, or if we want to find the current I, we need to simplify this network of resistors. For that reason, we need to look for possible solutions so that if we can simplify this circuit using series and parallel methods. For example, here we have this 24 ohm resistor and 10 ohm resistor. These two are in parallel. How? For example, we have this node. We have this node and this node. So let's call it X, and let's call this node as Y. So if we have this X and Y node, and this 24 ohm and this 10 ohm resistors are in between these two nodes, so we can call this 24 ohm and this 10 ohm resistors are in parallel. Okay, so we can simplify using this parallel approach. So 24 parallel 10. Similarly, we can also say that these two resistors are in parallel. That means the value should be 30 parallel 50. Okay, 30 parallel 50, and the previous one should be 24 parallel 10. Then the simplified circuit should look something like this and this. So this will be our 240 volt source. So this was our 13 ohm. This is 24 parallel 10, and this one is 30 parallel 50. So this is how we can simplify this. Now it's quite easy to solve for I. Right, so even though this two circuit looks a little bit different, but you'll see that these are actually the same two circuits. Okay, now problem will arise if we have a resistor over here in this node. Then we can no longer solve it using our series parallel approaches. For example, let's take a look at this particular two circuits. Okay, so if we have introduced a new resistor R4 over here, so for that reason you can no longer call this 24 ohm resistor and this 10 ohm resistor are in parallel. You cannot say that because the nodes have changed. For example, this is node X. You can call this node as Y. You can call this node as node Z, and obviously this is the same node, so we can call this node as B. This is still node B. Okay, node means connected points. Okay, so you do not have two common nodes between 24 ohm and this 10 ohm resistors, because this 24 ohm resistor have this node X and node Y, and this 10 ohm resistor is in between node X and node Z. So we can no longer say that this 24 and this 10 ohm resistors are in parallel. So this 24 ohm resistor and this 10 ohm resistor are not in parallel. We cannot call them as parallel. Is there any series element in this circuit? Can we call that this 24 ohm and this 30 ohm are in series? Is it possible to say that? The answer is no, because this 24 ohm resistor is in between node X and node Y, and this 30 ohm resistor is in between node Y and node B. So we can see that node Y is common between this 24 and 30 ohm resistor, but this node Y is not exclusively shared between 24 and 30 ohm resistors, because we have a 20 ohm resistor connected with in this node Y. For that reason, this Y node is no longer exclusively shared. Exclusively means there is no other element connected to that node. So in order to call this 24 ohm and 30 ohm in series, if we want to call them, if they are in series, we cannot have this connection. we cannot have this connection. Only then we could have said that 24 ohm and this 30 ohm resistors are in series, but this is not the case for our this particular problem. We see that a 20 ohm resistor is connected in node Y, so these are no longer in series. So by this logic you can see that in this circuit you do not have any element that are in series with each other or in parallel with each other. You cannot solve this problem using our traditional method like series and parallel approaches. You cannot apply anything in this here in this circuit. So in order to solve this kind of problems, because there are no series elements and there are no parallel elements, for that reason we need to learn a new technique. Sorry, this bar is over here. We need to learn a new technique that is known as Wye-Delta transformation. Before starting this topic, I was showing this problem to let you understand that why this kind of transformations are necessary. In order to solve this kind of problems, we cannot find I without Y and delta transformations. That's it.